Have you ever tried running away from something you knew you had to do? Well, let me tell you about someone who literally tried to run away from God and learned quite a spectacular lesson in the process. Meet Jonah, a prophet who received a divine mission from God to travel to Nineveh, a great but wicked city, and warn its people to change their ways. But here's the thing, Jonah wanted absolutely nothing to do with this assignment. Instead of heading east to Nineveh, he made a beeline for the complete opposite direction, boarding a ship headed to Tarshish. Now, you might think you can outsmart the divine, but let me tell you how that worked out for Jonah. While he was probably feeling pretty clever about his escape plan, God had other ideas. A violent storm suddenly arose, unlike anything the seasoned sailors had ever seen. The waves crashed against the ship, the wind howled, and everyone on board feared for their lives. The sailors, desperate to save themselves, started throwing cargo overboard to lighten the ship. Meanwhile, where was our friend Jonah? Fast asleep in the bottom of the boat. When the crew finally woke him up, they cast lots to figure out who was responsible for their misfortune. And guess who the lot fell on? You got it, Jonah. Here's where it gets really interesting. Jonah, knowing he was the cause of all this chaos, actually told the sailors to throw him overboard. Can you imagine making that decision? After some hesitation, they finally did, and something absolutely incredible happened. The moment Jonah hit the water, the storm stopped. But that wasn't the end of Jonah's story. Not by a long shot. God sent a massive fish, some call it a whale, to swallow Jonah whole. Now, I want you to imagine spending 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a fish. Dark, cramped, probably not smelling too great. It was basically an underwater timeout corner. But it was exactly what Jonah needed. In that solitary confinement, he had plenty of time to think about his choices and pray. After 3 days, when Jonah had finally learned his lesson and recommitted himself to God's plan, the fish vomited him onto dry land. Talk about a dramatic exit. But here's the beautiful part of the story. This wasn't just about punishment, it was about second chances. God could have let Jonah drown, but instead, he provided an unusual rescue vessel and gave Jonah another opportunity to fulfill his mission. And you know what? This time, Jonah got it right. He went to Nineveh, delivered God's message, and to everyone's surprise, the entire city repented and changed their ways. The story of Jonah teaches us that you can't run from your purpose forever. And sometimes the hardest paths lead to the most meaningful destinations. So the next time you're tempted to run away from something challenging, remember Jonah. Sometimes what looks like a detour might just be part of a bigger plan. Hopefully one that doesn't involve any large fish.